Peace and love. I'm going to give it a few minutes. I'm a little behind schedule. I was supposed to go on about 15 minutes ago, but I'm right on time. Comment your name and where you're from. Peace and love. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All is well. We're right on time. Yes. We're going to talk about change tonight. We're going to talk about change. Everybody's so ready for change. We ask for change. We want change. We want this. We want that. But then when everything manifests, everything you ask for, are you really ready and willing to change? Are you ready to do the work? Are you ready to go on the journey? Are you ready to honestly welcome and embrace all that comes with the changes that you ask for in your life? And these are things that I've experienced myself. These are emotions and feelings that I've experienced over the last couple of weeks. So I decided that I would be vulnerable and I would share my experiences with you all. So I just want to give it a few more minutes for more of the tribe to join us. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here. You know, being vulnerable and being transparent is, there's such a peace in that, but it's not easy. And I feel heavily on my heart that someone needs this message. And that's why I'm here, okay? So say your name and where you're from. Let me know who's here. In the meantime, I'm going to do some breath work while I give it a few more minutes. Feel free to join me. I'm just taking slow, deep breaths, opening up myself for messages that need to be received as I share with you all, as we talk about change, the discomfort in change, embracing change, welcoming change. Are we truly welcoming everything that we ask for, or are we in our own way? What I'm doing right now has helped me get through so many changes in my life, just simply breathing. I'm so happy that you're all here. We're going to start off with an affirmation, and then we can talk about what I want to share with you all. One of the affirmations I've been using as I've been going through my changes in life, as I got uncomfortable and I started thinking wrong and long, I would just bring myself back to center by breathing and grounding myself and remembering who I am and what I asked for. And a lot of the times we can get so overwhelmed and so peace and love, welcome loves. I'm so happy you're here. We can get so overwhelmed and clouded that we forget our way. We forget just how strong we truly are. So one of my favorite affirmations that I want to share with you all is, in the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect. whole and complete. I now choose calmly and objectively to see my old patterns, and I am willing to make changes. I am willing, I am ready, I am able, I am capable, I am knowing, I am strong, I am worthy, I am deserving, I am complete, I am teachable, I can learn new things, I can experience new things, I am not afraid. I am willing to change, and I choose to have fun while I change. I choose to react as though I have found a treasure when I discover something else to release. Because with change, you realize that, at least I can speak for myself, what I've realized is that just when I thought I had it all figured out, I didn't have it figured out. So I have to tell myself when it gets scary and when it gets overwhelming that I choose to react as though I found a treasure instead of feeling like it's a huge mountain, just looking at the change as if it's a treasure, a new experience, a new discovery, and when I find these walls of resistance coming up within me, it allows me to take a moment to look within and figure out what it is that I need to release. And, well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I received that, sunflower. I see and feel myself changing moment by moment. Thoughts no longer have any power over me. This right here. I would look in the mirror and say this: thoughts no longer have power over me, because our thoughts, sometimes we can't believe our thoughts because we're programmed. We have the thoughts of others, the fears of others, We have to realize that there's a deeper knowing within that we have to tap into. And sometimes when we think too much, we can go off on the deep end, where you just get lost in your thoughts. And that has happened. And that's why I remind myself to just stop and breathe when the change and everything just starts to come. And then I'm almost done with the affirmations. I am the power in the world, and I choose to be free. I choose to be free. You're talking to someone, you're listening to someone who, I'm a free spirit. I wander, I get lost all over the world. And I would always tell myself that I'm not attached to things. And I have the courage to do all of these things and go all these places all by myself. Foreign land. And then everything that I asked for was revealed to me really fast. And at first, initially, I was so excited. But then when it got real, it was wait a minute. I felt all of these different emotions over the course of a couple of weeks. I felt all of these different feelings, and I allowed myself to feel. But there were feelings of fear. I had anxiety. I had doubt, self-doubt. I felt myself clinging on to the old, which I know no longer served me, but it was comfortable. I just felt extremely uncomfortable, and I didn't know where it was coming from. So that alone forced me to go within and do some writing and do some deep soul work and figure out, wait a minute, Rashada, I thought we were free. I thought I was free. I thought I asked for this. I thought that I wanted all of this. I thought that I kept myself receptive and open to receive not only what I asked for, but maybe it will come in a way that I cannot see it as being something even greater than what I asked for. So then I noticed myself not being so kind to myself, because I'm like, oh my goodness, why are you so afraid? Just do it. Like, you got all this courage. How dare you just like be afraid of everything that you asked for? And it brought me to this. It brought me to this right now. And I wrote some notes so I don't forget to touch on some of these things. Just being ready, right? Like, staying ready so you never really have to get ready. Like, I thought I was so ready. I've been wanting to relocate. I've been wanting to release the old and welcome the new, which involved me moving out of my home, packing light, letting go of all of the things that we accumulate, all of the baggage. And I've been wanting to move somewhere new. And I always kept myself open. But was I really ready? Will we ever really be ready? All of these questions I asked myself. But the opportunity presented itself, and it was the opportunity that I really had nothing to do with. It was all divine, all completely divine, completely out of my control. I literally had no choice but to make a decision, yes or no, within less than 30 days. And it was so divine I couldn't go against it, because I know I asked for it. But I'm also human, so there were all of these fears. And I did a lot of writing, and I've been so uncomfortable. I've been so uncomfortable. And I know that it's a discomfort because there's so much greatness ahead. And I wanted to make this video because I want you all to remember that we can either make or break our lives. We can either move out of the way and welcome anew, or we can get completely in the way. And it has not been easy for me to just breathe through all of this. Like, I'm literally packing up my home that I've been in for 13 years. I am moving my children to a whole new place. And I am letting go of so much stuff. And I'm just starting new. And I'm excited, but damn it, I'm scared too. So the discomfort that comes, the resistance that comes, the fear that comes, the unknowing that comes, all of those are natural feelings. But I found myself for a quick second ready to deny what I asked for. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. But I'm happily moving out of my own damn way. And I'm happily embracing this change. And I am happily welcoming my new life that I asked for, and my new location, and my new home, with my new tribe to add to my current tribe, and just new experiences. And I encourage you all to remember what you ask for. It can be, I asked for this, we're talking for a long time. And when your wishes manifest, it may not manifest in the way you envision it happening, but you must know that it is it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be grounded and centered enough to know when it's right. And that was a internal struggle that I had with myself. They say the joy is in the journey. Yes, the joy is truly in the journey, because when you look back on your journey, you realize how far you've come. But when you're in it, when you're experiencing the journey, it's not always so joyous. Like, it's not always so joyous. So I had to acknowledge and go back to my notes, which is why it's so imperative to journal, and make notes of your feelings and your emotions so that you can reflect. You can be reflective. Make notes of the things that you spoke over your life. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. You'll have to go back and watch the earlier part of this so you're not lost in the sauce. Once it's done, I promise I will save it. But yeah, it's important to make notes so that you can reflect and you can go back and say, oh, this felt uncomfortable. This felt like something that I didn't ask for, but when I wrote back in 2000 and blah, 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 what I wanted, this was part of it. Like, we have to hold ourselves accountable, because the universe only knows what you're feeling and what you ask for. And I kept myself in a receptive mode. So I'm going on a journey, and I feel like I've been preparing my whole life for this new chapter, and I feel it, and it's overwhelming. And I'm just gonna take a risk. I'm gonna continue to trust the process like I have trusted the process in my life. That's what you gotta do. You gotta just trust the process and allow yourself to feel. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle. Just know that it's all gonna be okay. The tribe will show up. The support will show up. You can't worry about how. You can't ask too many questions. You can't try and figure it all out, because there's a whole divine flow that is just waiting to support you. You just have to know which way you want to be supported. So while I can have all of these emotions and I allow them to flow, there's still that grounded soul, that grounded spirit within me that knows like I know, that discernment that knows like I know that this new chapter is it. And I've had so many conversations with myself. You're right. So strong. Thank you. Yes, you got to trust the process. Yes, you have to release. Let's just touch on that. Releasing. Releasing and trusting. There's been a series of releasing experiences in my life. I've been releasing relationships. I've released things. I'm releasing a lot. And it feels very uncomfortable. But to get the things that we've never had, to experience the things that we've never been able to experience before, we have to do some things differently. We have to walk a different path. We have to dance to a different beat. We have to move differently to welcome different experiences. So I think what's happening for me is it's all happening at one time. Like, relationships are being released. I'm relocating. I am switching things around with my business. It's evolution at its finest, and that's what it is. And we have to stay in a place of we have to stay spiritually grounded, because you can be tricked. just with your mind, confusion can set in. You can be uncertain, and it can get in the way of your blessings, you know? So that's why affirmations are so important for me, because it just reminds me of how worthy I am, of who I am. And, it's so much inside of me that the world deserves. And if I don't take this chance, how will I know what will come of it? Life is about risks. We have to take risks. And I know once this is behind me, which it's reaching a close really soon, all of this change and discomfort, once it's behind me, I'm going to feel even more liberated. Like, don't get me wrong, I am so liberated. I am so grateful. I am so open. I am so ready. I am receptive. I am so willing. Say it with me. I am open. I am ready. I am receptive. Type it below. I am worthy. There's so much inside of me that the world is waiting for. It's my season. It's my turn. It is. I'm ready. And let me make sure. Oh, the old. A lot of times we can get comfortable with what's old. Okay. So once you make a decision, that's when the universe just lines up for you. Like, I feel like once like the minute I packed my first box, for instance, like I had such a hard time finding the right place, right? And the minute I said, you know what, I need to start packing, I need to get on the vibration, I need to get yes, it's your season, it's your turn, it's our season, it's our turn. Like, we got work to do. These are the conversations I've had with Rashada. You got work to do. You got to look in the mirror and say your name and say, I got this to do. I am ready. I accept this now. I have work to do. I am open, ready, and receptive. And I accept all ease and flow with this change. And I accept it now. Like, later for it, you can go through all of these things, but we got to snap out of it. Can't stay stuck in it, and you got to keep it moving, but I was telling a story about when I first packed my first box, and how I was having such a hard time finding the right place, because I am a firm believer that we can have anything that we want. So I wrote a list of exactly all of the things that I wanted in my place. And it was very specific. You have to be very specific when you are manifesting what you want in your life experience. And I wrote it all down. And all of these places, they may have had 2 out of 5 things on the list, but not all. So I was not like in receptive mode for something that was not on my list, because I believe that we have to know like we know that what we want is on the way. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a break from all of this searching, because it was a lot of work to do in very little time, and I'm going to just start packing. I'm going to pack my favorite part of my home, which is my Flawless Healing Lab. I'm going to start packing, and I'm going to give this search a break. So, you probably know the rest of the story. Once I packed my Flawless Healing Lab up, and I had everything in its boxes, that same day, I found a place. And the place had everything. Yes, write it down and watch that shit get real. That's real, on real paper, in real life, and that shit gets real, okay? I have witnessed so many miracles in my life, which is why I know these feelings that I was having, like all of the fear and all of the anxiety, all of that was a lie. And I was having so many conversations with myself. Like, Rashada, that's a lie. I believe we have our higher self and we have our lower self. And our lower self is, accustomed to what's comfortable. You know what I mean? And you got your higher self who knows your greater good, what you need. And we were having a battle. And I was like, this isn't the truth. Like, what you're fearing, what you're worried about, all of it is a lie. And the minute I released that resistance, everything worked out. And everything that I wanted in my new home, and then some, was on the list. So I hope this inspires someone. Like, let me share. I'm going to share with you all something that I wrote in my journal that I wrote to myself. Yes, it's everybody's turn. It's like, even we're here in this space right now. We're a collective right now. Like, we're contributing to the vibration of this experience. Everyone's getting something from me being vulnerable. Like, I've never been this vulnerable. Like, I have felt so vulnerable over the last couple of weeks, and I have been just staying so, like, strong, but I have been really overwhelmed. And I love y'all so much. Like, I've made some divine connections here, and I am grateful for this space. And I said, why not share what's going on in my life right now? We're on day 9 of 27 days to flawless. When you go on a fast, you're even more open and receptive to different feelings and emotions. You're more in touch with yourself. And I just feel like this has been a deep cycle. This has been a really deep cycle. But let me share with you what I wrote the other day. I must really allow. I must trust, know, while I invite my angels, ancestors, and guides, and the divine creator to work in my life. I ask for all of this. I am learning so much about myself. What I realize is this is a pivotal time in my life. Though change is divine and inevitable, I feel like what awaits is so powerful, so changing, so massive that I'm actually afraid of it. But not for long. Once I gain clarity on my next best move, I am completely ready, receptive, willing, and capable of what my next is. I am ready for my next. I welcome my next. I deserve my next. Next is here. I am loved. I have to remind myself that I'm loved, I'm supported. I am adaptable. I am powerful beyond measure. I am not in control, and that is okay. I am okay with delegation from the higher source. I will be filled. I will be fluid. Sometimes I can't read my own writing. I will be fluid like the wind, like the trees, like the water. I am free. I am well. I am at peace. I love my new place. I am happy. I am grateful. I am open. I am receiving more and better than what I even asked for. I trust. I have an army of divine support. Rashada, it's time to get on with your beautiful life. Let go. That's what I wrote. Gotta let go of the old so you can welcome the new. Whether if that's people, your places, and your things, you gotta let them go if it's in the way of your next level of flourishing. Let's see how much time we've been on here. I want you all to ask me any questions if you have any. I don't know how much time I've been on here. Oh, not bad. only 30 minutes. Does anyone have any questions or any comments? I'm grateful that I was able to share. I feel so much better. I hope this helps someone. I felt on my heart heavily that this message was for someone else. It was for someone else. Thank you for being here. Sunflower. I love your name. Sunflower. I consider myself a sun goddess. I love the sun. I'm so glad you're here. It's so nice to connect. Have I always had the strength? Thank you. Thank you. You know what they say? Some of the strongest people, you got to check on them. Because we are always looking out for so many other people, we can forget about ourselves. But I feel like, yes, I've always had the strength. It started as a little girl. The strength was given to me by my journey. And I wouldn't change it for the world, but I've experienced a lot in my young life, and I've seen a lot, and I've also experienced so many miracles. So I have really, really, really practiced the art of faith and knowing and trusting, because I've willed in a lot that way. And I'm not always so strong, though. We're human, you know? I'm not always so strong. I swear, over these last couple of weeks, I felt like just throwing in the towel and just saying, you know what? I'm going to do what's easier. And that's to stay comfortable. But I know that's a lie, you know? So it takes daily practice and sharpening of the mind, the body, and the spirit, you know, with the words you speak off of your tongue, the company you choose to keep, the rituals that you invite into your day, like, you know, the way you start your day. Like, all of these things contribute to being strong when you really need to be strong. And then just the connections that you have with other people will contribute to your strength, because we need each other. We all need each other, you know? And I know I was having a moment, and I have a really good sister, I like to call her, that is not really on social media, but I called her when I needed her, and she just sat there and listened, and she allowed me to have my fit and everything. And then she kindly said, Rashada, you asked for all of this. Get out of your own way. Everything is going to work out. And it's just amazing how the support shows up. So I have the strength of everyone, all of my ancestors, and all of the beautiful people in my life that contributes to my strength. But it's a daily practice. It really is. And I've taken some deep breaths through some deep shit, no lie. Does anybody else have questions or comments? Anybody have any affirmations they want to share? Oh, I'm looking at my journal. The notes I write to myself. Listen to this. This is deep right here. I realized I was attached. I was attached in every part of myself to the things that I thought mattered the least. I guess it's my ego. The ego can get us into a lot of trouble. It says, I know my feelings are valid, but I also must practice looking forward. I am very aware because staying in my past will not align me with my next. I have learned this week alone so much about myself. I learned that I must let go more. I must let go more to allow more. Yeah, it's like a tight fist, right? Nothing can go in and nothing can come out. So once you begin to open yourself up, more can come in and more can come out. What we think, meditate, and act on and shapes our reality, and in exchange, our reality shapes us. Yes. That's so true. What we think, we create, good or bad. Meditate and act on shapes our reality, and in exchange, our reality shapes us. That's deep right there, Sunflower. There's a new story to be told, new truths, and I had to acknowledge all of those people, too, that have hurt me. I had to release them. I had to forgive them. I had to forgive myself for making the decisions I made when I didn't know any better. That was profound for me because just forgiving myself. Sometimes we can carry guilt, and when we're just strong ones, like nobody knows like the things that you struggle with. One decision can alter your whole life, and sometimes it's better for me to just leave it on paper. I had been harboring so much anger and guilt and regret, fear, abandonment, self-blame, and sadness around my life experience of the past. I have been stuck because of it. Do you understand? Like, I'm not hurting no one but myself. Holding on to all of this. You're not hurting no one but yourself. But, all of this had to happen for me to have that realization. Do you see how it all works? Like, all of it had to happen. And I have no regrets because I have grown. It was a teaching moment. But man, has it been uncomfortable. It had to happen, though. You wouldn't even be talking to this woman you're talking to right now. It has to happen. It had to happen because these situations, these experiences, these pains, these discomforts, these all of these things shape us and mold us and allows us to grow. That's the real glow up. When you can get through it all and still revel and bask in your light. Yes, you gotta go through it. Yes. So I also wrote, I had to forget. The journey is amazing. Yes, it is. Life is but a journey. And I'm ready. I'm ready for the next chapter. I'm excited for the next chapter. Say it with me. Say you're ready for your next chapter. Like, damn it, these things, like, we can get things again. You have one life to live. Life does happen for you. A lot of times you can become a victim if you want to think about life happening to you. Like, we can become a victim or we can become a victor. You can decide, do you want to be a victor in your life or do you want to be a victim? And it's so easier said than done, but that's why your tribe is so important. Your daily rituals is so important. How you nourish your temple will affect the way you think. All of that stuff is very important. But, whoa, that was a good one. Yes, Goddess. Yes, it's the truth. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you. So listen to this. I can't believe I'm sharing my journal with y'all. I walked. I cried. I released. I affirmed. I guess it took all of this. Wait, my handwriting. I still write in cursive, loves. I had to release all of it before I got to my next. I had to release it all before I got to my next. Why? Aw, meet Rashada. I had to release it all before I got to my next. You gotta release it all. Gotta release it all. Because if you carry it with you to your next, no matter where you go, no matter what, is still gonna be there. All of that baggage, all of what's no longer serving you, all that's blocking you, even the people. So I wrote to myself, I am letting go completely. I am forgiving. Forgiveness came up too. I am releasing all of it. I'm releasing my old house. I'm releasing my old car. I'm releasing my old staff. I'm releasing my old business partners who hurt me and betrayed me. I'm letting that shit go so that I can really grow. That's what I wrote. That shit felt good that night. I mean, I had to walk for about, I don't know, almost an hour. And I cried. I cried so much. I cried like a baby. I mean, I had snot and everything. It was not flawless, okay? But I waited till everybody went to sleep and I went on my little walk. And it felt so good. And now I have this newfound freedom around this whole new change. I have this newfound excitement. I have this newfound courage and strength, even more like than I had before, because I let go. Look at the messages. One time I look up at the clock, it was 44:11. Then it was 44:44. I've been seeing 11s, 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 3s and 9s and 7s. Like, the messages are just coming. But you'd be surprised what you're harboring. Like, one thing that really inspired me to do this live and connect with you all on such a deep level tonight was that I didn't even know that I had all of these things to deal with. I had thought I worked through them, okay? That was major for me. Like, I thought I worked through this. I thought I was over this. I thought I had the courage. I thought I was free. I thought I released things. I thought I let go. I thought I forgave. No, I did not. No, I did not. Like, healing is a never-ending journey, which is why 27 Days to Flawless is so near and dear to me, because I created that in the midst of needing some healing. I created that program, and it was for me. But what it did for me was something that I couldn't keep to myself, and it just became even more of a passion of mine to spread it with the world, you know? Little old me, one day you'll know more about me, but little old me created this program that is needed. And it's not just your food, it's literally your whole way of life. You go on a journey. You start with the mind, preparing the mind. The mind is everything. We have nothing without our mind. And the spirit, you know? And allowing, putting yourself in a place of being open by healing your temple. Because everything that we put in is a reflection of who we are. Like, you become what you eat. It's real cliche, but it's the truth. But raising your level of awareness and consciousness by way of fork. And then becoming a vessel. Healing yourself so that you can heal others. It's a movement. And that's why it's so special to me, because, you know, it's so much deeper than our food. And each cycle, I get something different from it. And it's interesting because as you help other people, you help yourself. As I talk to you all, I'm talking to myself. As I make these posts and these videos, you know, all of this inspiration, some of those days, I may be going through some things. So, you know, I'm grateful for the tribe, and where there is love, there is light. There's so much love here. I can feel it, and there's so much light. And I'm grateful for this moment. We got, like, I'm going to go the whole hour. I got a few more minutes before we have reached 1 hour. Instagram gives you 1 hour on your live. So I want to open up the floor, if you will. I want to open up the virtual floor. I want to listen. I want to hear what you have to say. Excuse me, y'all. That was the coconut water, okay? It's a probiotic. But I want to hear what you have to say. And if you have anything to add, do so. Don't be shy. All right, so while no one's saying anything, let's talk about forgiveness. Because that's a tough pill to swallow sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to forgive and forget. I know for me, especially this last year plus in my life, I have gone through a lot of relationships. And I had to forgive these people who I have given so much power to. I had to forgive. And just because you forgive someone, it doesn't mean that they are allowed back into your life. But forgiveness is more so for you. Forgiveness is, welcome to all of you who just joined. You'll have to go back and watch this. I'm going to save it. We got about 9 more minutes before this cuts off, but we're touching on forgiveness right now. You came in closing, but go back and watch it if you feel compelled to. But when you forgive, it has everything to do with you and very little to do with the person. But one thing that came through me going through all of these relationships, one great thing that came out of it was self-reflection. It's really hard. Forgiveness is hard because you want to point the finger like, oh, but you did this and you said that and you hurt me after I did this and I gave so much of myself and I don't understand, like, how could you just abandon me, or how could you betray me? How could you lie to me? How could you steal from me? How could you not be who I wanted you to be to make me feel better? That's when I had to look in the mirror and say, okay, what do I need to learn from these experiences? What do I need to learn from these relationships, that are going south? And what about them that I don't like is a mere reflection of myself. And no, it does not condone foolish behavior by any means. But as much as we may not want to hear it, we attract into our life all of our experiences, good or bad, and we have to learn from them. And yes, when people show you who they are, you must believe them, okay? But you also gotta be open, willing, and receptive, and keep your heart open to forgive, because when you don't forgive, you close yourself off. You block your heart. Like, you close yourself off for love in all different areas. Like, we deserve love in all areas of our lives, not just romantically or not just from our children. Everything is love. It's the energy connected to everything. So you have to love yourself enough to forgive, because when you don't forgive, and you're talking about someone who holds, this is coming from someone who in the past would hold so many grudges. But when you don't forgive, it just hurts you. It don't have nothing to do with the person who did you wrong. They're gonna have to deal with it themselves anyway. They're gonna suffer because they're losing out on having you in their life, and they're gonna have to go through their own journey. But forgiveness, and the way I forgive people who I may not ever speak to again, is I'll write them a letter, and I'll express exactly how I feel in that letter, and I will forgive them, and I will truly forgive them. At least I think I will. We human. But and then I will burn that damn letter and try really hard to keep it moving and not dwell on the situation. But you have to forgive them. I can tell you some stories of betrayal. It's not even worth talking about. I just know that forgiveness came up in the midst of my little changing moment that's occurring in my life. It was like the Creator was like, you have to deal with all these things. And it just was thrown at me all at once. And I had to work on it, and I've been working on it, and I've been working through it. And I had to go through all of it before I got to my next. And I guess because these are things that were holding me back, So yes, forgiveness is hard. I have something about forgiveness that I wrote, and I like to read. Hopefully I can find it before this cuts out. Let me know if you guys want to go longer. I have time, but it's going to cut out and I would have to start again. But if you want to go longer and go deeper, we can. We can go with the flow of it all. unforgiveness. Okay. Don't all speak at once. Do you want to go longer? It's about to cut out. We got 4 more minutes. Do you want me to start another live or no? And continue to talk about this forgiveness and change and evolution and discomfort and ease and flow? Okay, so did you know that illnesses, all right, in closing, continuing, like piggybacking on what we were talking about with the forgiveness. Peace and love, welcome. You gotta start this over when it's done because I'm in closing, you missed it. But luckily I'm gonna be able to save it. But whenever we are ill, we need to search our hearts to see who it is we need to forgive. All disease comes from a state of unforgiveness. And that whenever we are ill, we need to look around to see who it is that we need to forgive. You find it hardest to forgive the one you need to let go of the most. Hey! Forgiveness means giving up, letting go. It has nothing to do with condoning behavior. It's just letting the whole thing go. Let that shit go. Don't worry about the how. Just focus on letting go and being willing to forgive. We understand our pain so well. How hard is it for most of us to understand that they, whoever they are, we need to forgive the most? All right, let's close out with a nice affirmation. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I am always divinely protected and guided. It is safe for me to look within myself. It is safe for me to look into the past. It is safe for me to enlarge my viewpoint of life. I am far more than my personality, past, present, or future. I now choose to rise above my personality problems, to recognize the magnificence of being open to forgive. I am totally willing to learn to love myself. All is well in my world. The past has no power over me. The past has no power over me. I welcome change. I am open to receive love and new experiences, and I hope this helps someone. Peace and love, loves. All is well.